Well, I laid in a couple of pieces of old wood on the ground in our trunk. That's raw umber, alizarin crimson, bit of cobalt blue, bit of burnt sienna, and white. I think I'll actually I cleaned that off my palette. I think I'm actually going to mix up something similar to that. Just burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. I would like to show a little bit of trunk here and there. On these trees on the side. Okay. Trunk. Branch. Branch. And a little bit of trunk. We'll see if I did that right once we get into this with the foliage. Now, rather than working back to front for the moment, I'd like to have some lower bush in here. I think we can go fairly purple with that. So we'll go ultramarine blue and a teeny little bit of alizarin crimson. No, more than a teeny bit. Quite a bit of alizarin crimson. A little bit of foliage here. Okay. Brighten that up a little bit. Oops. Okay. What I'm doing right now will likely be touched over with some more paint, but I'm just kind of establishing the shape of this little bush here. Okay. Now we'll lay down some foreground. The contents of the foreground, we'll just call it stuff, because that's what it'll be. A bit of this and a bit of that. Well, you know, I wonder maybe I should put a stone or two in here. Yeah, I think that might be a good idea. But what I'll do first is, because I've still got fairly light paint here, I think I'm gonna outline more or less where those stones will be. How about something like that? Whoops. Okay. Oh, Phil's house of flying brushes. Okay, a couple stones there. Maybe a little guy there. Okay, that's a hole that log is pointing to. Maybe we'll just indicate something there as well. I like my stones in groups. If they're scattered, they need to still be organized in some sort of pattern. Okay, I think that'll work. Guess I should put some dark paint adjacent to those logs too. Get as dark as I can. And we have one coming down here. Yeah. Yeah, I think that'll work. I think that'll work. I think I'll go as dark as I can around these little bits of trunk. Seeing as the values are going to be so low. Okay. Maybe we'll just leave it at that. Yeah, I think all in all. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to paint those stones in. We'll use A bit of cobalt blue and raw umber. Oh, that's pretty light. It's pretty light for the dark side of a stone. Try to keep these shapes somewhat interesting. Okay, a little more raw umber and cobalt blue. I'm going to go just a little bit lighter now in value and a little warmer. Okay. These guys will probably still catch a little bit of the light from behind there. Not maybe a direct reflection of it, but some hint of its existence. I'm actually going to put some in right away. A little bit of light. Just a little bit of light. Just to help give them some shape, you know? Alright. The rest is stubble, grass, a variety of things. So we don't have to get too worried about any details. But the color is important. I want to keep it toned down. I'd like to keep it fairly blue. Could go greenish. I'm not sure if I want to do that though. Okay. When unsure, put a little swatch down. Okay. Burnt sienna, cobalt blue. Near the edge. Is that too blue? It's too light. So we're going to add a little ultramarine to that. Ultramarine blue. A little more burnt sienna. I like that. That's good, certainly for the moment. Sort of nondescript. Color, but it still gives this hill a bit of body, so that's really exactly what we're after. I know I'm not going to put little details like little bits of grass or little tiny stones, not going to do that. That's a good trap for somebody who paints in this style. It's a sure way to end up with a weak painting. Again, unless you're a realist, in which case you kind of have to do something along those lines. Do a little something. Get out the smaller brush and start playing with twigs. You know, I think I'll add a touch of yellow ochre to that. Give it a bit of variety. Yeah, I think that works. Okay. Back to our ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, yellow ochre. Not adding any white at all to this. Yeah. Picks up the sky color a little bit, but really, really toned down. So I did end up going a bit greenish with it. Alright. Start out a little darker back here. And there. Okay, and then back to adding a little bit of yellow ochre. Oops, might have gotten a bit carried away with that one, but it's okay. Maybe it'll be a happy accident, who knows? Okay. I don't think I need to qualify it more. I might put the odd little highlight. Probably just touch them a little bit more light on these trunks, or these two pieces of wood. They look pretty flat sitting there right now. And this bit of land back here, this hillside that's just over the rise and starting to go up the other side, I think we'll I'm gonna have to think about that. I could make it a little bit lighter. That would show off the shape of this tree. If I make it lighter, this tree will have to remain very dark on its edges. If I make it darker, this tree will go lighter on its edges, because you have to differentiate between the two. Yeah, we'll see. As you can see, I've done a little bit of highlighting on these rocks. Tidied up these logs. Gave them a little bit of, a little bit of dimension, shape. And I think I'm just going to go into these trees with similar colors to what I have here. At least to begin with. I just want a silhouette, and I think that I'm very tempted to go with a different color. I don't think I will. And as I get more towards the center of the tree, I may just add a hint of white. Here I would add a hint of yellow ochre. Here I will add a hint of white. So you can see it's more of a brownish green than this is. That's because I've used more burnt sienna in comparison to the foreground ground cover. This little bit I'm doing now is probably going to get a little bit boring for you, so I might just get back to you once it's in place. Well, I've jumped ahead a little bit. I've blocked these trees in, or rather filled them in. I did away with this bit here. I couldn't see any point in having a piece of land coming off in the distance, so I just decided to keep it as this is the only plane. Put a little bit of cad red medium and yellow ochre, and sort of laid the brush in, laid the paint on in such a way as to mix with the ultramarine blue and alizarin crimson that I had set in there. Yeah, a little more highlighting on the rocks. It may receive the odd touch yet. It's going to get a signature, of course. But if I go into it now, I'm going to be painting wet in wet, and that will not be so good. These here, this is a little bit smooth. I need to let that set before I lay another stroke on. Most of my strokes of the hard objects, the trunks and the branches and the rocks, are direct, strong strokes. Then we come to this smushy, weak, fuzzy stuff. So I have to let that dry. I'm not going to get into that today. So I'll just take the camera off the tripod again and give you a close-up, and then we're going to take that upstairs, and it can live with its siblings for a little while. Okay. I'm going so close, like I really, because I had put pale yellow in this area, I went almost, oh, so close to straight white and just laid it in because it mixes on the canvas when I laid it in. Try to get as bright a light as I could. And what do we have here? Oh, I'll do the trunk because that's an important one. It's good to see the individual strokes, giving it texture, showing where the light lands, where the shadow is. See what I mean? That's just very soft and weak. So is the other one. I'll get back to that another time. So there it is. Thank you for watching. We will talk to you soon. That is, what is that? Maybe it's a 12-12. Yeah, I think it is. Okay, see ya.